Hey everyone, I'm George Ebro,
I'm Isabella Ohio.
And I'm Sophie Villa.
and you're watching another episode of Uncovered.
Today we have a very special guest with us. Here we have the president of the Florida Education Association, Mr. Fedrick Ingram. Fedrick Ingram has been named the Francisco R. Walker Miami-Dade County Teacher of the Year several times and was also a finalist for the State of Florida Teacher of the Year Award in 2006.
He was a recipient of the prestigious J.M. Family African American Achievers Award, and in May of 2013, the Miami Herald's Legacy magazine named him as one of South Florida's 50 most powerful African American business leaders.
That same year, Fedrick Ingram was elected president of the United Teachers of Dade, or the UTD, and in 2018, he was elected as the president of the Florida Education Association. So, without further ado, here we have Mr. Fedrick Ingram. Thank you for meeting with us today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's no secret that way before you would go on to lead the Florida Education Association, you started out as a music teacher and band director here in Miami. How much has this experience shaped you for all the success that you would go on to achieve?
Well, I got to say, I love Miami. That's the first thing, because I'm born and raised in Miami. I was born at Jackson Hospital. I went to Miami-Jackson High School. I grew up with not a lot of money in our household. My father drove the city bus, still does. And my mother, she retired from the city bus organization down there. So all of the circumstances that I grew up with, the urban, inner city, street tough Miami, all helped me to be tough in doing the job that I'm doing right now. So all of that, to me, has helped shape and formulate the person I am today.
In the past, you have mentioned having goals of uniting FEA members in tackling issues that threaten public education here in Florida. Could you elaborate about this a little more?
Yeah, so I love teaching. And so what I think is important about the work that I do is we help to try and make things equitable for students and for teachers, because you know that teachers are underpaid. Some teachers spend their own monies to make their programs go. You know, they spend money on art supplies and band supplies, and they don't necessarily get paid as much as doctors or lawyers or engineers do. And so I'm always in my role now trying to make that right, trying to make sure that teachers get what they deserve, but also trying to make sure that every school, inclusive of schools like yours, get what they need. And so we keep pushing every day.
In regards to the lawsuit calling for schools to remain physically closed throughout the resurgence of COVID-19 here in Florida, our Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran tweeted, "Parents should choose. This lawsuit is frivolous and complete disregard for everybody's, especially children's, health and welfare." How do you feel about this statement?
So listen, we believe that parents should choose as well, but we believe that parents should have a real choice. That means that it's going to cost more money for us to educate you, our kids, did in the past. How do we know that? Because COVID-19, we have to ensure that you all are safe. And so when he says that our lawsuit doesn't mean anything, we believe that it means everything. We think that it's going to keep kids alive. It's going to keep families healthy, because what we also know is that young people like yourselves do better with this virus if you happen to catch it. But you may live in what's called a multi-generational home. You may live with your grandmother. You may live with your baby sister, and then you might be fine, but then you stand a chance at spreading that virus to somebody else who may not have as good a shot as you do to be okay. And so that's what we're trying to do. We want kids back in school. We're teachers. That's what we do. And so we're suing because we don't think that the schools are safe. And until we can ensure that each and every one of you and your friends, and by extension, the other high schools and middle schools, can be safe, then we believe that we should do distance learning and virtual learning until we can ensure that you're not going to get sick and God help us, die.
A little follow-up on that. There have been some people criticizing at-home learning, claiming that it's very stressful for some students. And in an exclusive poll from USA Today, 46% of parents, along with 76% of teachers, claim that it's causing children to fall behind. And in a recent interview with the Today Show, you mentioned that you don't want Florida to become the petri dish for America. So what would be your take on online learning and those who want school to start up again?
So I agree. Kids are falling behind. They are. But I want kids alive, and I don't want kids in the hospital. And with COVID-19, you have to go to the hospital by yourself. So the alternative is you getting potentially really sick and being isolated by yourself. I believe that if we concentrate on the virus, concentrate on getting a vaccine, concentrate on making sure that people social distance, make sure people wear masks, we put all those things in place, And then let's see how we get back into the groove of actually teaching. But here's what I would tell parents. Whenever we get those kids back, teachers know how to teach. They know how to create magic. I have every confidence that my colleagues will do what they need to do. They will teach English like they never have before. They'll teach math and science and history and art and all of these other courses and electives that you all have. They will do it like they have never done it before. So that's what I would tell parents, and that's what I would tell our communities, just to be patient and go slow. And let's do distance learning until we can ensure. Now, I'm not saying close schools. What I'm saying is let's do distance learning, let's do virtual school, and let's do a phased-in approach. Maybe we don't start in person in August. Maybe the virus is starting to clear up in September or October. It doesn't mean that we go the whole school year. It depends on how safe we can actually re-enter the school buildings, not close schools. That's not what we're saying at all. Let's just do a phase-in approach. Because right now, if we had to open schools tomorrow, I would tell each and every one of you and your parents, you better not go, simply because the rate is too high.
How do you feel about the state opening district by district and the lack of government funding for personal protection equipment?
So two things. One, I think each district always opens in their own time and space. School districts always open in different weeks or days, always within the month of August, but not necessarily on the same day. So that I don't have a problem with. I do have a problem with our state government and our local governments not giving teachers masks or face shields. You know, their teachers actually need gloves, right? Because they have to feed those kids. You know, there's some kids who have certain physical capacities that they don't operate like you and I do, but there are teachers who teach these kids every day. And so they need certain things to protect themselves, right? And so those are the things that we're most worried about. Our most challenged kids, our vulnerable kids, and those who take care of them. That's simply a burden that teachers and educational support professionals should not have.
Throughout the past month or so, there have been many voices calling out for social change in our country. Do you believe that education should play a role in this? And if so, how?
I do. I think because of the diversity in our schools, that is where we learn to cooperate with each other in the first place, right? You go to school with people who don't look like you or speak a different language. That's the beauty of public schools. We all have to go together and learn together and understand and respect each other's culture. So I think the more that we respect each other's culture, the more that we understand that we're all just human besides all this. And we all want the same thing, right? You guys want to be successful. You want a good job. You want your family to be in a good place. All of the social unrest, people treat people because of the way they look, is so unfair, but it's so embedded in our country. I think we have a great country. I think we have a great state. I think we have a great city. But that just because it's great doesn't mean you don't have problems. And so we've got to work to solve those problems. And I think the schools can be part of the solution if we actually get our students and our teachers to understand that we're going to actually teach cultural diversity. And so, yes, schools play a big role, and we can absolutely do better if we start to teach our students at a young age that everybody's important.
So you've had some encounters with former U.S. Representative and civil rights activist John Lewis. How has he influenced you in your career?
Wow, John Lewis. Oh my gosh. You're talking about a gentleman. First of all, he died Sunday, but he was 80 years old. And this is a person who put his body on the line for everybody. And in 1960 and 1964, we didn't all have the same rights. And so this man was not only an important part of the civil rights movement, he was beaten for all of us so that we could live a better life. So he really means a lot. He really means a lot to me. I had a chance to meet him on 2 occasions and spend some time with him and talk to him and get some of his knowledge. And I thank the Lord for that because I'm a better person for it.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us, Mr. Ingram. It's been a real pleasure.
All right, well, good. Listen, I'm going to let you guys go. I know y'all have a lot of things to do. Y'all be safe, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Y'all take care now.
Thank you for watching another episode of Uncovered, and we hope to see you again soon.